Road trouble for the Oakland Raiders? Not this season. They are a perfect 3-0 on the road, 3-1 this entire season after getting a win against the Baltimore Ravens. 28-27 is your final. If you missed the game, you missed one heck of a game. Derek Carr, 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns thrown to Michael Crabtree, and the Raiders defense come up big again. I'm Henry Woodford along with the 4-time Super Bowl champion, Bill Romanowski. What did you think of that final drive of the game? The big hit by Reggie Nelson, jarring that ball loose and helping the Raiders solidify their 3rd win of the season.
Fantastic. What I loved about it was the way they brought the heat. And when it came down to it and the defense had to make a play, it was DJ Hayden and Nelson. Come up at the end on 4th down, guys, and make that big play and seal the victory on the road. That's 3 in a row, Henry. 3 in a row on the road this year.
2 weeks into the season, there were a lot of question marks surrounding the silver and black. But ever since that loss to the Atlanta Falcons at home in Oakland, we've seen a completely different defense. Compare today's defense based on what we saw compared to what we saw the first 2 weeks of the season.
Well, first 2 weeks, it was a sieve. And then they got back on track last week against Tennessee. They played really good on the back end, but the front 7 did not play very well. Who showed up today? All phases, the back end and the front end. Matt got his first sack of the year. It was unbelievable the way they were bringing heat. They were blitzing. Bruce Irvin, sack, strip sack, caused fumble. Defense is about making plays. And that defense went out there today, and they made plays for 60 minutes. And at the end, when they needed the big one to seal it, they got it done.
Absolutely got it done on defense on the final drive. But prior to that, it was a Carr to Crabtree connection working throughout the game. This is a very interesting receiving core because the best receiver is Amari Cooper. But the go-to receiver may be Michael Crabtree. Elaborate on his game today.
You know what? He's just clutch. When you need a big play, you got one guy you want to throw it to, and that is Michael Crabtree. Why? Because clutch, clutch, clutch. The guy comes up and makes it, and it started last year, and then now he's even better this year. This guy is the most valuable player on this offense. He sets the tone. He's a tempo setter. He's tough. He's relentless. It's a go-to guy for Carr, and I tell you what, just amazing to see him do it, game in and game out. Amari Cooper, still young, still the big, the big play guy. Seth Roberts came up with a big touchdown today. That's what he does. He just scores touchdowns. And Crabtree scores touchdowns and big plays during the plays out on the field.
Huge win for the Oakland Raiders. We're going to hear from the head coach as well as several of the players. But first, let's talk with our Raiders insider, Scott Baird, joining us from Baltimore. Scott, it's very early in the season, but you can make the case that Michael Crabtree is the MVP of this team so far this season.
I think he absolutely is, because he's essentially responsible for 2 of their first 3 victories, and he's really rounding into form, and that's a good thing to see from a veteran who plays this way after he just signed a big contract. He's really come up and been a sure-handed presence on this offense. He and Derek Carr are so calm under pressure, and yet again they come through in the clutch.
I have a feeling the Raiders are going to be very proud of their defense, especially the front 4. They put pressure on Flacco from the beginning of the game all the way till the end, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mack and Irvin had kind of taken some heat because they weren't generating enough pressure. Well, they definitely were today, and they were responsible for several big plays and several errant passes from a guy like Joe Flacco, who's typically so accurate. It's nice to see this defense rounding into form after they struggled in the first 2 games.
The stat that jumps off the paper, Corey James, a rookie linebacker, only starting in his 2nd game. He came up with 15 tackles, Scott. Give us some inside information on Corey James.
This kid is somebody who was playing off the edge back at college last year, 6th-round pick that was supposed to earn his paychecks on special teams, but he's really come through and been a sure tackler in the middle, something that the Raiders have desperately needed because there were too many chunk plays. Now there's more 4- and 5-yard gains, and I think that is kind of allowing this defense to calm down. But to expect something like this from a 6th-round pick, that's pretty surprising, and they've really gotten a lot of good play from a lot of quality rookies in this draft class.
Scott, you've covered the Raiders on all 3 road games this season. Is there a sense before there's even a kickoff that this team believes it can win on the road, unlike previous seasons?
Yeah, I mean, they've really kind of shaken that whole reputation. They're no longer skittish on the road, and I think if we go back to that Saints victory, that really set the tone for all of these other wins because they really seem calm even when things aren't going exactly right, and they just find a way to win. And that's something that Raiders teams have played close games, quite a few, right? But they haven't been able to seal the deal. They definitely did it here. Another impressive win. This team, 3 games on the road out of its first 4 is 3-1. It's a fun team to watch, and I think the Raiders fans should be really proud of what they're seeing thus far.
Our insider Scott Bair just minutes away from interviewing the head coach as well as several of the players. Scott, great job. We'll continue to read your work on CSNCalifornia.com. Bill Romanowski, one heck of a football player back in his day, the 4-time Super Bowl champion. What did you think of this young linebacker, Corey James, who had 15 tackles to lead the Raiders?
Yeah, he was all over the field. What I saw is a guy last week that made some plays, and all of a sudden he took that jump, Henry. He took that jump from being good last week to being great today. He was great in pass coverage. He was sideline to sideline. He was stepping up in the hole, sticking guys really hard, driving them back. That's what you want to see. He was a guy, as Scott said, that came off the edge in college. They move him to inside. You don't know what you got. He played outside linebacker because he was the best athlete on the team in college. Well, they move him inside, and now he is one of the most dominant inside linebackers for the Oakland Raiders. Soon to be maybe one of the more dominant inside linebackers in their division. This young, exciting football player is phenomenal out there, and he's doing what he has to do. Make plays, fly around, and make sure you don't make mistakes.
Also today, Bruce Irvin and Khalil Mack, they played like superstars. Irvin forced a fumble in the first half, which was very big. Mack got his hands on the quarterback. In fact, he hit the quarterback 3 times, got his first sack of the season. Corey James, as we mentioned. Carl Joseph, also a rookie. He had 8 tackles, second on the team in tackles. And then Bruce Irvin, 2 total tackles, but he did get a sack, 2 quarterback hits, forced fumble, which is his 3rd of the season. Bruce Irvin has been a monster on defense. What an acquisition for the Oakland Raiders.
No, he has. And the 2 of them together, Mack finally said to himself, you know what? I'm tired of hearing it. I'm tired of the questions. They say that they double team me. Yeah, they double team me, and I'm going to beat the double. They single team me, I'm going to beat the single team. They triple team me, I'm going to beat the triple team. Somehow, some way, I'm going to get to that quarterback today, and there was nothing going to keep him from getting a sack. He got that sack. I'm happy for him.
Bottom line, any dominant defensive player is going to be double teamed, right? He's got to get used to it and say, hey, I'm an NFL star. I might as well get used to it and find a way to make it work instead of complaining.
Yeah, and now that Irving is coming on as an edge pass rusher, the 2 of them are going to be dynamic together.
And what about when they get Mario Edwards Jr. back? And what about when they get Aldon Smith on the team? This defense has potential to be extremely good, Romo.
You know, when those guys come back, they potentially could be the best in the NFL. That's what it's going to take. You need that dominant pass rush. Right now, hey, we looked at them the beginning of the year. This is a defense that was scary, not very good. We were giving up a lot of rushing yards, giving up a lot of passing yards. They tightened things up last week. I really do believe that Jack Del Rio got involved. He and Ken Norton Jr. together fix the problems. The defensive backfield is playing real tight coverage. They're coming up and making hits. And, you know, the front seven is dominating. When you can dominate up front, you can dominate football games.
Front seven looked very sharp, and we got to give some credit to some guys in that secondary. Sean Smith played much better. DJ Hayden came up big. It seemed like the entire defense, collectively, they took their game to another level this week. They were solid.
Yeah, they went for two after the touchdown. Baltimore did. Sean Smith came up with a pick. I don't know if that counts on an extra point as an interception, but big-time play right there to keep him from getting 2 points.
Absolutely. He was solid. Let's get to our Evergood Sausages player of the game. It's going to Michael Crabtree. This man was on a mission today. He made acrobatic catches. He made big catches, and Derek Carr continued to put the ball in the perfect spot. He finished with 7 catches for 88 yards, 12.6 a reception, 3 TDs, longest catch 23 yards. He was targeted 12 times. Michael Crabtree, the man was draped with little gold necklaces. There was a flash about him tonight, and he was able to back it up. I mean, there is that swag factor once again. Michael Crabtree is not just about talk. He's about producing on the field, Romo.
You know, that's the thing. If you're going to talk, you better deliver. Well, this guy is out there, and he's delivering, and he does. He's got a swag about him, you know, a little bit cocky. It's like, go ahead, try to cover me. Because when Derek Carr throws me the football, I'm going to catch it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
When's the last time you've seen a Raider receiving corps with this much talent? As you mentioned, Amari Cooper, this kid can be a superstar. Michael Crabtree, extremely reliable, maybe the go-to guy. And then Seth Roberts will hurt you in the red zone as well. This is one heck of a receiving corps.
Yeah, it is. Back when I was a Raider, when I came here in 2002, it was Tim Brown and Jerry Rice. And they were all 45 years old at that time.
They were collecting Social Security at that point,
Hey,
man.
they were still kicking tail. Still kicking tail. But that's the last time we had a receiving corps like we have now.
All right, best start for the Oakland Raiders since 2002, the season that they went to the Super Bowl and opened the year 4-0. Something else that is exciting, the Romo rant, baby. It's time to close out this show.
We are here to win it.
Give it to me, Romo.
Let's bring everyone together. Man, I need to tell you something. I love every one of you. 3-0 on the road. No one believed we could do it, but we did. I got some game balls to give out on offense. Michael Crabtree. That is the best game I've ever seen you play. And I love it, and I know your teammates love it. Defense, the whole defensive line. You kicked ass from the first play to the last, and you came up big. Man, we believed. We believed we could kick anybody's ass anywhere. We believe we are a contender for the Super Bowl. We trust. We trust that we got everyone's back in this room. We trust that if we execute the game plan, there's nobody in the NFL that can beat us. We love everyone in this room. We love being Raiders. And last but not least, we fight. We fight to the end. We fight with bloody fists. And next week, we're going to fight at home in the Coliseum against the San Diego Chargers.